Welcome to the What If podcast with your hosts, Spencer Worth-Davis and Ryan Copperrood.
Welcome to the party.
What if you disappeared again? It would fucking suck if you disappeared.
Don't do it.
It would be
Don't
scary. Man, okay, so last week we talked about it's the Trumpy family.
Heck.
Thank you. Dude, my guy, not missing a beat today. That was not a... we didn't clarify. Maybe we didn't need to, but that was not a David Politis.
Well, it should be.
I mean...
Get your shit together, Dave.
Well, if he would just answer our fucking emails, Dave.
The Yowie took him.
The Yowie.
And he brought him back.
Yahweh? Like God?
No,
like
Yowie. Like
Jewish
Australian skunk ape, Yowie.
Oh.
They don't have... they don't have swamps in Australia.
I feel like that's probably not true.
It's dry there.
Yeah, but also it's wet.
Is it? Because of the ocean? I don't know how science works.
We like to surf.
Fuck.
We like to surf. Nailed it. Did I nail it?
This episode's canceled.
I'm going to take a picture of Spencer's face next time I drop an Australian accent so you guys can see the level of like deep disappointment.
Post it on our Insta story.
Yo, we got to get Lens for Patreon. Have you heard about this?
Oh, no.
Patreon.com/whatitpodcast. If you guys didn't know, we do another episode of this show every week that if you are listening to this episode, you're not hearing if you're not a supporter. Patreon.com/whatitpodcast. It's only $5 a month. And you Hell yes. You get 4 additional episodes every month, which is, when I say that out loud, is crazy that we do that many episodes of this show.
Nobody cares.
But they put out a new product called Lens where you can have like Instagram style stories, but it only goes to your Patreon account. So I feel like we should just film each other through Lens doing fucking rowdy.
I think at this point there are more people that support us on Patreon than follow us on Instagram anyway.
That's true. The Instagram following is not super hot.
Yeah, well, we don't really post much, so you get what you give.
We're not a very like visual. I mean, it's a fucking
goes around,
podcast.
comes around.
It's an audible format, you know.
Circle of life.
It's an audible format.
What were we talking about again?
It's not super disappearances again,
Oh,
man.
Yeah, Australian UFOs. That's right.
Well,
sorry, I'm back in it.
Well, you got you went.
You were just talking for a while there, and I checked out.
You went pretty ham quickly, man. You went all the way to the UFOs.
Yeah,
we don't even know who's disappearing or how or why. We can't.
Frederick Valentich is disappearing because he got abducted. His whole airplane got abducted.
Shots fired. Gauntlet thrown. Bombs blasted. Goddamn.
20-year-old Frederick Valentich disappeared.
He was only 20?
Yeah.
Man.
It might have something to do with his plane flying abilities or lack thereof. But
we'll talk about that.
He was flying 125 miles from one side of the Bass Strait to the other side of the Bass Strait, which is the little bit. So you got mainland Australia.
Yes.
And then down in the southeast corner.
Yes.
You got Tasmania.
Yes.
And then there's a little bit of water that goes in between the two. That's the Bass Strait.
Where is New Zealand near there? Southeast, right? Isn't New Zealand southeast Australia as well?
No.
I'm pretty sure
maybe
New Zealand is in the southeastern region of Australia.
It's further down there. It's a little bit that looks like it should be attached, but isn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, it's not very wide. It's only like 200 miles wide.
Okay. So he was trying to cross it?
He was flying across it. Yep.
Okay. What year is
in one
this?
of the narrower parts because his whole flight was only 125 miles.
Okay.
This was 1978.
1978.
October 21st.
Okay.
And while he was flying across it, he radioed to control, I guess, saying that he saw something pretty weird following his airplane.
Pretty weird.
I have an excerpt from the whole transcript. I have the whole transcript, but it's long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Nice.
But he called into a Melbourne Air Flight Service and spoke with an aircraft controller named Steve Robbie.
Okay.
Valentich said, "Is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? No known traffic. There seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet. What type of aircraft is it? I cannot confirm. It's 4 bright, like landing lights. The aircraft has just passed over me about 1,000 feet above. Is it a large aircraft? Unknown due to the speed it's traveling. Is there any Air Force aircraft in the vicinity? No known aircraft in the vicinity. It's approaching right now from due east towards me. It seems that he's playing some sort of game with me, flying over me 2 to 3 times at a speed I can't identify. So he keeps describing this thing that's flying around and above and over him. And at first he says it's 4 lights. Later he describes it as a long shape. I don't know if that means
where the lights were maybe placed or
airplane shaped or like cigar shaped, or I don't know what a long shape means.
Yes, you do.
And then he says at one point it's hovering over him. Then it's orbiting around his plane at one point. He said it's got a green light and it looks metallic. It's shiny on the outside. And then after a pause, he says, it just vanished. Do you know what kind of aircraft I've got? Is it a military aircraft? He asks the guy. And the controller says, can you confirm that the aircraft just vanished? He says, is the aircraft still with you? It's now approaching from the southwest. And then he describes that his engine is idling roughly. Then he holds down the microphone button for 17 seconds, but doesn't say anything, and then never replies again. So this guy calls in a UFO, describes it for this whole conversation takes 7 minutes. He describes it for 7 minutes. Doesn't say anything for 17 seconds. In the background, you can hear like a metallic sort of clanking noise while he's holding the microphone down or holding it open.
Okay.
And then he disappears from the radio, but also from this plane of existence. His airplane,
as far as we're aware.
Yeah, he nor his airplane was ever found.
Yep.
Several people reported seeing UFOs in the area around the same time, like that same day.
Yeah.
Although it's not clear if those were reported before or after Valentich's story was in the press. And in a couple of the news reports about it, like they all make reference to a UFO. He apparently was interested in UFOs. And his dad, when asked about it, said he hoped his son had been taken by a UFO rather than his plane crashing. His dad said, I hope a UFO took my son.
I mean, I guess.
Come on, Dad.
I guess if I got to flip a coin.
Come on, Dad.
If I got to flip a coin, like I'm diving head first into a fiery ball of flame in the ocean.
I hope they took that little shithead. He was never doing anything on this planet anyway. Might as well try another one.
Take him onto your planet. See if he can fucking pass a high school class in your world.
Good. You guys pay his bills for a while.
Yeah. He can lay on your fucking alien couches and fucking play video games and eat Cheetos. Piece of shit. If I had to flip a coin, like if my son was gonna fucking dive headfirst into a fiery ball of flame, or
be abducted, airplane and all. So
I guess I don't know. I would oh man, I don't want to wish anything on an unborn fucking. Okay, let's say this.
On your future firstborn.
Let's say this. 15 years from now, I find out that Spencer has taken up Cessna flying and Spencer's airplane disappears and he's never heard from again.
I want to be abducted. That's not the same thing.
I guess that's true. Although there were... Bro, I know you're going to be screaming that soundboard drop in your head as you get fucking lifted up into the ship.
Everything that you would possibly do to get abducted.
Exactly. You're going to be screaming these quotes in your head as you slowly levitate into like the glowing white light.
I have not had any close encounters.
God damn it.
Pissed.
I saw though that Frederick Valentich, what are we calling him? Valentich?
Sure, whatever you want.
Okay, Valentich.
Just don't say it with an Australian accent.
Valentich. Hey, happy Valentine's Day, guys. Was that last week? I guess that was last week.
You missed by a week.
We didn't tell you last week, so happy Valentine's Day. Frederick Valentich, apparently he was a bit of a believer from what we've been able to suss out.
He sure was.
And his father actually even said that he was his son Frederick was maybe a little bit concerned about the possibility of an alien attack.
I mean, who isn't?
Well, you know, a lot
Some
of people,
more than others, but who isn't?
So I would say that, you know, Guido's
I don't think his name was Guido.
it's Guido. Tell me how you want to pronounce that.
What? I think you're making things up.
I read words on the internet. I don't know what to tell you, but I'm looking at a listed father name here.
I'm seeing Guio from the original newspaper report
Okay.
from Associated Press, Melbourne.
Well, I will acknowledge
Guio.
that. I will acknowledge that what I had previously said is potentially looked at as not a very nice thing to say, but
What?
that's what it says.
I'm
saying, like-
I think you have this dude's name wrong, though, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, I'm just saying I'm reading it somewhere on the internet that says it's got a D in it. Don't you look at me like that, you son of a bitch. But I guess like that. What I'm trying to say is that this dad's reflection on his son's disappearance and being like, I hope he got abducted, is not super far away from how I would feel about you. Because if he knows his son is an ardent believer in UFOs and a little bit like concerned about the concept,
Yeah, fuck that guy. I hope he got abducted.
yeah, fuck that guy. I hope he got
He had
abducted.
it coming.
That's what I'm
he
saying.
He was doing
though,
everything he could do to get abducted.
bro. If you're in a Cessna driving that
Driving my
Cessna
airplane.
straight down 35. If you fly your Cessna to Duluth and you never land, I'll be like, I fucking hope he got abducted.
He made it home.
That will be my hope. Legit,
Yeah,
that will be my hope.
That's fair. That's fair. I found the number of UFO reports that were reported to the Australian Air Force, and it was 11, which is kind of a lot
11.
that were actually reported to the Air Force.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something in my notes about apparently a plumber named Roy Manifold was taking photos near Cape Otway Lighthouse on that evening
Okay.
and potentially caught an extremely fast-moving object exiting the water
Ooh.
around the same evening and time and similar location to when Frederick Valentich
So the dolphins took him.
disappeared.
The dolphins got him.
The smart dolphins with the lights on their heads.
With the USOs. No, not flying dolphins. They have ships. Come on.
The dolphins have ships?
Yeah.
With lights
They
on
built
their
a
ships?
USO, yeah.
It's cooler.
It's dark down at the bottom of the ocean all the time.
It's
You need
cool-
lights. That actually makes sense. I don't know why UFOs would have lights, but I get why USOs would.
It's cooler if we just envision a world in which dolphins flap their little fucking dumb fins as fast as possible, and then they just like
They can fly.
They can fly
And
over.
abduct people?
Yeah, yeah, or at least just freak out Frederick.
That's fair.
Just
Another update from this newspaper. The Pittsburgh Steelers lost 24-17 to the Houston Oilers as rookie Earl Campbell scored 3 touchdowns.
why is that relevant?
It's right above this story in this newspaper from 1978.
Oh, that's
that I'm
funny.
reading about the UFO enthusiast missing.
That's amazing. That's amazing that a real newspaper article.
Rookie Earl Campbell.
Rookie Earl Campbell. Why are they reporting on U.S. football?
I think this is the weird shit page of
Nice.
The Blade, the Australian newspaper. It's where they put American football scores and UFO reports, I guess.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's I
why
guess
not?
that's one.
You know,
These
a little-
these fucking Americans.
We probably
shit, I
report. There's
can't
probably
do it,
some
man.
newspaper that reports like Australian rules football scores or something. People watch like Premier League and shit over here.
Well, that's not Australian football.
Just saying,
but
no, but it's another country's sports though.
yes. True.
Anyway, the alien dolphins got him.
The alien dolphins got him.
It does seem really weird to me that he's flying across a 125-mile body of water.
We're talking.
And you never found the airplane?
Yes.
How does that work?
We're talking in. Like how long does that take you to actually fly that flight? 125 miles in a Cessna?
An hour?
Less, maybe?
I don't know how. Yeah. It can't be long.
I mean, yeah, probably an hour. So like you're not covering like a massive area.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're covering at most 125 mile area, and you know how far into the flight he was approximately.
Right.
It should be an even smaller area.
They set a search after he was not heard from when he departed on the 21st of October. And for 5 days, they searched an area over 1,000 square miles.
Yeah, that doesn't seem possible that you wouldn't find something.
I mean, it's a Cessna, so you're talking about like a pretty small plane, but still.
Wouldn't you see if they got out there right away because they knew that he went missing right away?
Sure.
You wouldn't see like oil or gas on top of the water, or you wouldn't see anything?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you.
I would think you could narrow it down to a much smaller range than 1,000 square miles even.
Yes.
That would be the most likely area he would have gone down in.
Right.
Because the prevailing hypothesis is that obviously he was not a very experienced pilot.
Yes.
He only had like 100 hours or something of flight time.
Yes.
And he was very into UFOs.
Yes.
And one of the hypotheses is that he was actually flying upside down and seeing reflections of both his own lights and celestial lights off the surface of the water, not realizing that it was, in fact, below rather than above.
Now, Spencer, I'd like to tell you why I think that's a bunch of fucking dog shit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
you're about to say something.
I was going to say I mostly agree with you, but I'm interested to hear why you think that. Because you can usually tell when you're upside down, because I can.
Fucking hell, fucking yeah, that was going to be my initial fucking sentence.
I'm usually pretty sure if I'm upside down or not.
I fly in commercial airplanes, I would say semi-regularly.
You ever been upside down?
More than a handful of times a year. Oh, no, I've never been upside down. You know why?
Maybe you just didn't know.
Because
maybe you're always flying upside down and you just don't realize it.
Bam, when I tip anywhere outside of like a 20-degree range.
Oh, yeah, you hate flying, don't you?
I fucking shit my pants. So the fact that I could somehow not only fully flip my airplane upside down, but not understand what fucking gravity feels like anymore. I'm hanging in my airplane harness.
I like the person who came to the conclusion that like, well, he hadn't flown very much, so maybe he was just flying it upside down.
Maybe gravity was a foreign fucking concept to him.
Like if I get in a car that I haven't driven before, I just immediately flip it.
Yeah. And then while I'm flipped upside down in my car, I'm like, boy, there's probably aliens up there. Like, what the fuck?
You're teaching a kid how to ride a bike for the first time, and they just lie down and put the bike on top of themselves.
On top of them, and they're like, this is right. This feels right.
Here we go.
Yeah. Dude, the thing that's weird about this to me is that the Department of Transport, like fucking Australia's DOT, determined that their final speculation was that he became disoriented and saw his own lights reflected in water.
His own what?
His own lights.
Oh.
The lights from his airplane. Or lights from a nearby island while flying upside down. And I don't understand.
Is that a thing?
I mean,
Are we missing something here?
Airplanes can fly upside down. I know that's a thing.
Right, but that wouldn't be immediately apparent if you were? Are we somehow missing something?
I mean, I can understand how, like, if it's pitch black, like 180 degrees might be a little bit hard to find. But to be fully...
Hey Siri.
Don't ask the robot.
Am I upside down?
I couldn't say.
Did she say I couldn't say?
Yeah, Siri doesn't know.
Her dumbass gyroscope doesn't know where she is.
How do you fly a plane upside down?
Okay, I found this on the web.
No,
How do you fly
of
a
course
plane
you found
upside
something
down?
on the web.
Aerodynamics. How can airplanes fly upside down? Can airliners really fly upside down? CNN travel. Wow, slow day on CNN.
I know that they can. It's not about whether or not it's possible to fly an airplane upside down. I think that happens all the time. Denzel did it?
Yeah, in that one movie where he was drunk, but he flew the airplane upside down and saved a bunch of people.
You know, it's funny. I only know that because of like the trailer. I never actually saw that movie.
Yeah. And then he does a bunch of coke before he shows up in court because he was too drunk.
Gotta wake up somehow.
Yep.
Good morning. I don't know how physically your body cannot register the concept of being upside down.
No, I agree. Unless maybe, I'm just wondering if like there's some weird G-force thing I'm not thinking of or wouldn't know of. But I agree with you that on the surface, that seems like a laughably dumb explanation.
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. And for that to be the official speculation from Australia's Department of Transport seems fucking weird as balls to me. Like, why would you not go, I don't know, man, he saw some fucking stars, or maybe there was a plane up there we didn't know about, and he fucking crashed into the ocean because he'd been flying for like 3 years and he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Right. Like
that seems so much more logical to me.
Getting disoriented, seeing lights that you don't recognize or reflections of lights, that seems plausible to me. I don't really understand. Like, you wouldn't even have to include the flying upside down bit.
Right.
And because you did, now I trust the rest of it less.
Right.
Also, well, I think one of the other reasons for that is that if you were in that plane, you would have issues with fuel getting to the engines. And so that might be part of why people hypothesize that, because flying upside down would cause the engines to stall pretty quickly.
Well, and from everything I read, they said that that's part of the reason they think that he reported during his 7-minute stretch that the engines were doing weird things. Yeah. Like he was attributing that to something that was maybe not what he was attributing it to.
But at no point in that 7-minute conversation, he doesn't ask the flight controller, hey, just quick question, should I be upside down or not upside down?
Yeah.
Is one of those better than the other? I just kind of figured they were the same since, it's symmetrical and stuff.
My goggles fell right off my head. What's going on?
It just seemed more fun this way.
Yeah.
Is it bad to be upside down for an hour?
That's weird.
Am I going to die?
Are we out? Are we severely out here?
I just thought the plane looked cooler this way.
I've only been doing this for a year. I'm doing tricks.
I've been looking at the sky for a long time. I wanted to look at the ocean. It just,
Yeah.
I just want to switch it up.
It was nighttime. You couldn't even fucking see it.
Dude.
Which I get,
Freddie.
I don't know. This one to me is one of those where it's like, so the only thing that I ever saw about an investigation and like what came of it.
Psychop?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Oh, they investigated, quote unquote, it.
What's Psychop?
It's the something.
Tell me more.
In something skeptical inquiry, Center for Skeptical Inquiry or something like that.
Tight.
Yeah, they look at weird shit skeptically, which usually just means like it's not an alien.
Yep.
It's
not an alien.
But they did it. I'll link to it. But they did a pretty thorough look at this story.
What was their conclusion?
Basically, he saw lights and crashed his shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's along the lines of the flying upside down bit.
Okay. The thing that I agree with that you said is the whole concept of like, the one thing I saw was that.
Oh, actually, I take it back. They conclude that he got startled by the UFO that was flying around him and crashed.
Oh, well,
I read that wrong.
That would be disorienting in its own right.
They took like 10 pages to say that the UFO startled him and he drove his shit into the ground.
I mean, that'll do it. That would do it.
Yeah,
that would do it.
Except he wanted to go with the UFOs. He should have flown towards them. It's
true. Well, maybe he did.
They didn't know Fred like that.
Maybe they didn't know about his life.
No, they didn't know.
You know about that Fred life. The one thing that I saw was that 5 years after he disappeared, there's a location called Flinders Island, which is in sort of like southwest of that strait, the Bass Strait.
Mm-hmm.
and that
It might be bass straight.
Bass straight?
I assumed it's bass because it's water related.
bass or bass, that an engine cowl flap was found washed ashore on Flinders Island.
A what?
An engine cowl flap?
Oh, I'm assuming that's part of a plane.
It's part of the engine controls. I don't fully understand.
Thing that
the
was
extent.
formerly attached to an airplane?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all we really need to know. I don't care what it does. It's part of an airplane that ended up in the ocean.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the propeller-driven internal combustion engine,
You said like 3 words I don't really understand.
Yeah, we don't really get into science here, but
the plane fell off.
it was a piece of the plane. Okay,
Yeah.
We'll say piece of the plane.
Yeah.
Washed up on shore on Flinders Island, and
Are you saying Flanders or
Flinders? Flinders.
Okay. Stupid, sexy Flinders.
Heidi ho, airplane. They say that the engine part could have been identified as having come from a Cessna 182 aircraft that
Could have been identified
between a certain range of serial numbers, which could have included Valentich's aircraft.
What a stupid way to phrase that. What does that mean?
I mean, I guess they're saying like they don't have direct proof that it was a piece of his airplane, but that 5 years later in that location, it's something that like could have been a piece of his airplane. I would have to know how many
It's
airplanes.
not convincing at all.
Well, no, I'd have to know how many Cessnas crash into the Bass Strait on any given.
But they're not even saying it's from
year.
a Cessna, are they? They
No,
say
yeah.
it could be.
Sorry. Let me read the direct quote. The Royal Australian Navy Research Laboratory noted that the part has been identified as having come from a Cessna 182 aircraft between a certain range of serial numbers, which included Valentich's aircraft.
Oh, okay. The weird phrasing was you're doing.
Yeah, no,
Got it.
I was
That makes more sense.
colloquially explaining.
Oh, okay.
So
he did get scared by the UFO and drove down to the bottom of the ocean.
I mean, you're talking about 5 years later in a place that is close, but not like right there. I don't know.
I mean,
Whether or not he crashed,
obviously he crashed his plane, right?
I mean, I think that to me, that makes the most sense, yes. The fact that they didn't find anything immediately and found something 5 years later seems a little strange. Like, because especially, why do things wash up 5 years later? That's one thing I've never gotten about plane shit. Like,
Because the ocean's big.
but planes are made of metal, like metal sinks. If a plane crashes into the ocean, how does most
Planes fly. It can't be that heavy.
No, but at the end of the day, it's still metal. It's not buoyant.
Is it?
What
Are
do you
all
mean?
parts of a Cessna metal?
Not all parts of it, but I think a part of an engine would be. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of like buoyant or air-filled plastic in the group.
Mm.
I mean, seat cushions. Like, why are you not finding a seat cushion? A seat cushion seems to me like it would float more than an engine like control
Maybe
piece.
it got stuck to a turtle. He swam around with it for 5 years.
But do you know what I mean, though? Really, like
A hermit crab had been living in it.
there seems to be a lot of things that could and would and should wash ashore from a small plane crash.
I
are
guess,
not like
I guess it seems
a piece of metal
equally,
from
if
an
not
engine.
more likely that stuff would just sink and or float around out where no one is forever.
Right. And then all of it, especially the metal parts, would sink to the very bottom. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Metal sinks. Drop a BB in your water glass. And then drink that shit. Just kidding. Don't do that.
What else floats?
We're legally
Very
required.
small rocks.
We are legally required to tell you to not.
Did his plane weigh more
This
or
is a
less than a
joke
duck?
podcast. It's a parody. Burn it. Burn the plane.
Well,
It's a witch. Burn it. I don't know, man. A couple people said that he this was his way of going out telling the world that UFOs are real, which I feel like is
that's dumb.
well, hardcore UFO lover, flies a plane at night.
Maybe he didn't crash then. Maybe he just flew off somewhere else.
Dude,
There are instances of people successfully stealing planes and never being found.
yes.
Maybe he just never arrived at his destination, but he flew somewhere else.
Do you?
And he faked his abduction because he wanted to disappear and he wanted people to think that aliens were real.
Do you think that? Do you think it's possible that, quote, Valentich staged his own disappearance, even taking into account a trip of between 30 and 45 minutes to Cape Otway? The single-engine Cessna still had enough fuel to fly the 800 kilometers. And despite ideal conditions, at no time was the aircraft plotted on radar, casting doubts as to whether it was ever even near Cape Otway. And Melbourne police received reports of a light aircraft making a mysterious landing not far from Cape Otway at the same time as Valentich's disappearance.
Yeah. Dude, this is super unrelated, but I forgot to bring it up at the beginning of the episode, so it's happening 30 minutes in.
But I want to talk about that. That was like my fucking punchline for this shit, boy.
All right, fine. Remind me to come back to the super unrelated thing.
Okay, I'll tell you to come back to the
that
super
totally
unrelated
makes
thing.
sense to me.
That, to me, was like where I was going to go with the whole thing. That this young ass dude who is a huge UFO dude.
Obviously, his dad hated him, so he had to get out of there.
Good. I hope he got took. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Hope he never comes back. That he got up in
away
the
from home.
Yeah, he got up in the air, did a 7-minute. I think there's a UFO. There's aliens. Aliens are real. UFOs land somewhere he's not supposed to
Fuck you,
land
Dad.
in another place. Fuck you, Dad.
Double middle fingers out the window.
Yeah, right. and then just like fucking goes and starts a new life somewhere.
Yeah.
As I contributed to the UFO fucking phenomenon in the world. I don't know.
And I live in Melbourne now.
I mean, like, to me, especially with those reports, that sounds like fucking pretty interesting.
In some ways, that makes the most sense. Because it just doesn't add up to me that you wouldn't find anything related to a plane crash in that small of an area when you start searching 12 hours later.
Right. And there's a 5-day search, and there's 12,000 kilometers or whatever, 1,000 miles, 1,000 square miles worth of area that they searched.
Yeah, that seems really unlikely to me.
Right. I don't know. That to me sounds like the coolest and most interesting reason for Frederick Valentich to disappear.
In some ways, the most plausible.
Sure. To me, it's more logical than, holy shit, I'm flying upside down, and then fucking plunging into the water because you didn't understand the concept of gravity.
Let's give Fred some more credit than that, right?
Yeah.
He had this cool plot rather than he forgot how gravity works.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
My head feels funny. Ah!
His head fell off.
Real talk, true story. Should we tell your unrelated thing now, or should we take a quick break and then tell your unrelated
Let's
thing?
take a break.
All right,
we'll start back with the nonsense.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We've got another fucking what the fuck Australia story. And Spencer has an entirely delightful unrelated thing. We'll be back. It's the What If Podcast. And Spencer, you had a very unrelated thing I was supposed to remind you of, and now I am reminding you.
My microphone is sinking. It's sad.
Sinking?
Like the stand is not quite.
It's almost like your microphone remembered what gravity was.
Right? It knows it's upside down right now.
It remembered
and it's trying
how
to get to the
gravity
ground.
worked.
Yeah. It's not even sentient. It's just a bunch of metal. It wouldn't even float.
Can you prove that?
That it won't float? We'd have a bad time if we tried to find out.
That microphone is
I'd be broke.
Way too expensive to see if it floats or not.
I saw The Disaster Artist on Saturday.
Oh.
It's at the Riverview right now, by the way. This is not helpful for anyone else because you're not going to hear this in time, and you probably don't live in Minneapolis. But this is just for Ryan. It's at the Riverview. It's $2. It's great.
Okay.
So if any of you are not familiar, it's about Tommy Wiseau, the dude who wrote, directed, and starred in and produced The Room in 2003, with a budget of $6 million and a gross earnings of $1,800.
Sick.
And the James Franco and Seth Rogen made a movie about the making of The Room and based on how things actually went. Anyway, I got fascinated with what the fuck Tommy Wiseau's deal is. He's a real dude. And
and he's
who
like
had millions of dollars. He self-funded a $6 million movie.
Right.
That made $1,800. He lost $6 million making a movie.
Right.
That was awful. And no one knows where his money came from, where he came from. He never told anybody where he's from, how old he was, what he did for work, anything like that. He's just this dude who mysteriously had $6 million and dumped into one of the worst movies ever made.
Yep.
And so I started thinking about, like, even if you had that money, why would you do that?
He's trying to get famous, bro. He's trying to be a fucking Hollywood superstar.
Like, do you really think that your first movie, though, is going to make $6 million back? Like, even...
Bro, there's a lot of very delusional people who live in Hollywood.
But how much money do you have to be willing to take that risk? You've got to have, like...
Was it all his money?
Yes.
He didn't have any outside investors? Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. I don't know.
So I started thinking, like, was it money laundering of some sort, whether his money or someone else's?
Yeah.
And I went down the Google rabbit hole of Tommy Wiseau theories, and at the very bottom of said rabbit hole is the hypothesis that Tommy Wiseau is DB Cooper.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Which is how
boy,
our conversation a moment ago reminded me of it.
Good Lord.
Which is an incredibly stupid hypothesis because A, the time frame doesn't line up at all, and B, DB Cooper stole $300,000, not $6 million.
Well, $300,000 in 1970, whatever it was.
Yeah, so by the 90s, that was $6 million? I mean, I guess.
You invested, I guess.
But okay, so you would invest that well to then dump it all into the world's shittiest movie?
No.
But I love that hypothesis.
That is it's a pretty phenomenal take on a fucking super weird thing.
While we're doing movie updates,
yes.
I also first of all, again, this is purely for Ryan. Can you make a section of our website for me or for both of us, but just a blog section?
Yeah.
And can I call it Is It Trash, where I just review various things?
Yes.
Movies, books, salsas.
Why don't you just do that in between our regular episodes?
Well, because all the posts are just episodes. I don't want to, it needs its own Is It Trash section. And I'll give things ratings. Like the Disaster Artist would have been an absolutely not trash. Opposite of trash rating. It was great.
Except for the fact that
the Cloverfield Paradox would have been a dumpster fire wrapped in a dumpster fire.
So you want
trash.
You want like a personal Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. But not just films. Like I want to review books. I bought this Chipotle's salsa the other day that was total trash. I want to be able to review salsa.
Chipotle?
Not like the restaurant, but like Chipotle flavored salsa.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, Chipotle is bottling their salsas now?
Like whenever there's a new J. Cole record, I just like, I need to review all kinds of things that are usually, but occasionally not trash.
Okay. Well, I wonder if this should be like an ongoing series on the Patreon. Like you do like you do like a
all right, never mind.
Like
carry on.
film selfie video being like, all right, everybody, I got some shit to say today.
This is trash.
This is trash.
Cloverfield Paradox.
Wait.
The guy's arm came off and somehow could write, and it had its own brain because it was from another dimension. Trash.
Whoa.
That movie sucks.
Wait.
And I'm mad.
That movie sucks and I'm mad.
That's going to be the subtitle.
That movie sucks and I'm mad. That should be like
a big cat story.
A big cat story. That should be like the bottom end of the spectrum. That movie sucks and I'm mad.
Just the last line of everyone will be like, that record sucks and I'm mad. Or that salsa's great and I'm not mad.
Yeah, okay. All right.
That taco was delicious and
I'm not mad. Yeah, and I'm happy. Yeah, there you go. All right.
Okay. Starting whenever I started on Patreon.
Yeah, I also we could use that fucking lens thing I was talking about. I also
video might be more fun, I guess.
Yeah, because we get to spout. I also want to review, or not review, but I want to watch. Have you seen this new fucking documentary on Netflix about the doctor that supposedly
apparently
who apparently removes foreign alien implants for people.
Yeah, Patient 17.
Did you watch it yet?
With Dr. Richard Gere or whatever his name is.
Richard Gere?
What's that guy's name?
It's not Pretty Alien.
I'm gonna Google
Pretty Alien.
Pretty hybrid. With Julia Robot.
I don't. Fuck you. That's so good. Fuck you.
I'm going to Google Richard Gere alien implant and see if it gets me there.
I bet it does. Somebody wrote it wrong on a Reddit post.
First.
Uh-oh.
First result is fan fiction. Images. Images might get me there. List. Oh, wow. List of UFO podcasts. I don't know how you thought I wanted that, but I want that. Thanks,
Are we
Google.
on it?
I don't know.
Dicks.
What the fuck is that guy's name?
Richard Gere.
No, it's not. But I did watch that documentary.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, of course. Come
yeah,
on, bro.
I mean, I don't know.
that doesn't jump to the top of my Netflix queue.
I was thinking we should maybe do an episode on it if it was worth doing an episode on.
Richard Lear.
Wow.
I was really
off
close.
by a letter.
Nope, Roger Lear. Off by 2 names.
Yep. Off by everything.
Got both of them wrong.
Off by it all.
Off by the most. Yeah, he takes bits of metal out of people and then says it's like
aliens.
Cryptoplutonium.
Cryptochronolite.
Chromantium.
Excuse me?
I don't know. He takes like
adamantium?
Yeah, unobtainium out of people's knees.
Unobtainium.
At one point, he legitimately is just running a stud finder up and down a dude's thigh.
No, he was not.
Yes, he is. That's a scene in the movie.
Bummer.
Yeah. Also, he's dead.
The guy that does it?
Yeah, Richard Gere.
Oh,
he
so
passed.
so we can't even interview Richard Gere?
Well, they did for the movie, but then he died during the making of the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, he was too embarrassed by the outcome of the documentary.
Oh, no. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Patient 17. It's if you don't take it seriously, it's entertaining. You okay? We had another story, didn't we? Or is this what we're doing now?
Did you ever? No, we'll tell it in a second. Did you ever see
This is our podcast now.
Did you ever see the YouTube series Will It Blend?
Yeah. They just put shit in a blender and then
It was
tried
like
to blend it.
It was like a Blendtec blender ad, but it was just like goofy Bill Nye, like kind of hokey intentionally.
Okay.
And it was the guy who would just like shove shit in blenders and be like, Justin Bieber records, will it blend? And just fucking like hit go and soft the Blendtec would like blow up. I feel like we should totally just like parody Is It Trash, but it's with Spencer, and it's like you in a lab coat.
Something either goes in the trash can or not at the end of it.
It is like
or on like a nice pedestal, one or the other.
It's you in a lab coat with glasses like, is it trash? And you like fucking, you either dumpster dunk it or you
dumpster dunk.
Or you fucking like pedestal put it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I
know.
think it should
I
be
think we
audio
can do
though,
this.
because then it can just fall into the RSS feed. And
Well,
then,
why not both?
if you
Why
fuck
not
with us
both?
on Patreon, you can get 3 episodes a week.
Why not both?
And one of them will be 10 minutes of me just reviewing whatever I hated that week.
Is it trash? Hey, Spencer, back here. I'm here to tell you something's trash this week.
Argyle socks.
Just
fuck them.
Is it trash? I like that you could just review.
Target brand t-shirts.
Dude, Vince Staples reviews everything, bro. We could learn a thing or two from him.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do it. Is it trash?
What you know about ghost yachts?
Is it Trash Tuesdays?
There we go.
Ghost boats? I know a little bit about ghost boats.
Ghost yachts is tighter.
No.
Ghost yacht. What you know about ghost yachts?
I know that there's one called the Kaz II.
It is called the Kaz II.
Tried to sail all the way around Australia and disappeared.
90 nautical miles off of the northeastern coast of Australia in 2007. A yacht carrying 3 men.
Is that a normal crew for a yacht? I don't know much about yachting.
I don't either. As far as I'm able to tell, it was one of those like could be done, not maybe like the best way to do it kind of things.
Usually, I mean, even for like a sailboat, you want at least 2, right?
Right.
I don't know how sailing works.
I don't either. Some people do it on the lakes here in Minneapolis in the summertime.
I tell you what, you cover the yacht part of this, and I'll cover the ghost part. Sound fair?
Yeah, although I don't know much about yachts. I know more about the ghosts in this situation.
I don't know much
than
about ghosts,
the
so
yachts.
it's even.
No, it's not literal goats, but
Goats.
Ghosts. Goats.
Goat boat.
Goat boats. Oh boy.
Not trash.
We've derailed. Peter and James Tunstead are brothers. They are there with their friend Derek Batten. They're all in their 50s and 60s.
Batten down the derricks.
Batten down the derricks.
That was his job.
Shit's going down.
He had to close the hatches.
Yes. On April 18th, after their boat had been observed by multiple different passing boats and had not reported its own personal safety, a helicopter was sent to search the area that their Kaz II yacht was sailing in.
Wait.
Yes.
So other boats passed it? Just like out on the ocean?
2 separate boats saw the boat from afar.
Okay.
And
you're supposed to tell every boat that you go past how you're feeling? Why was that suspicious?
Well, their sail was ripped.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Which is usually a distress.
That's probably a bad sign.
Usually a distress sign.
How would that happen?
Well, we'll get there in a sec.
Giant squids?
I guess they released the Kraken?
Mm-hmm. Bad idea.
So they send a helicopter out to search for the crew of the Kaz II, including the Kaz II itself, because at that point they didn't actually have a location for the boat.
Just drifting.
And at that point, they found it sort of actually in the vicinity of the Great Barrier Reef, and maritime authorities caught up with the boat and boarded the boat to find what they could find. And what they found was circumstances in which they described as being strange. Uh-oh again.
Define strange, please.
John Hall was an employee of the Queensland's Emergency Management Office who said what they found was a bit strange in that everything was normal. There was just no sign of the crew.
I mean, aside from the sails being torn apart.
Yes.
I'm assuming that's not normal.
But quite literally, it was only one of the sails.
Okay.
There were 2, and so one sail was torn.
Yachts have sails?
I don't really know how yachts work. Bro, we're broke. We don't know how this shit goes.
There's the stupid meme for the week.
But
I thought sailboats had sails.
There you go,
I
Allie.
thought yachts had yachts.
There you go, Allie.
What about a steamboat, though?
Did it burn water to make speed fast? Good, yes.
You just heat up the ocean.
Ocean water, get hot, go fast boat. When they boarded the boat, everything on the yacht was, quote, in serviceable condition and
Except for
was
the sails.
laid
I feel
out.
like they're kind of overlooking a major issue here.
Yeah, but just wait.
Okay.
And was laid out as if the crew was still on board. There was
they were just like pairs of pants standing around on the deck.
There was food and flatware set out on the table.
Okay.
Laptop computers were set up and turned on. The engine on the boat was actually still running, so had not been turned off or swamped with water in a storm or anything like that.
Okay.
Officials
and
also
hadn't run out of fuel?
had not run out of fuel in the time it took them to find it.
Do we know how long it was from when it was last seen by passerby boats to when it was found by emergency management folks?
I also don't know how fast it was going. It could have just been idling, which would have meant it was
maybe would last
probably using less fuel, I guess.
Not a boat expert.
Yeah, again, not boat experts.
Or an anything mechanical expert.
Or really experts in much.
Got like half of one thing.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that makes you not an expert, though.
I guess that's
I think
true.
the word for half an expert.
Half an expert is a half expert.
Not an expert.
The boat's emergency systems, including the radio and the GPS, were fully functional when they tested all of those things.
Just no dudes.
There were life jackets on board.
Okay.
There was a small boat on the yacht that was hoisted, and the anchor for that was up.
They had a boat on their boat?
I mean, it's a yacht, so they got that.
How big did you say this yacht was?
I don't have a footage for it.
10 meters. 30-foot boat.
Yeah,
That's
I was
pretty
gonna say
damn big.
I've got a picture of it. I mean, it's big. It's not huge. Like, it's not like when you say yacht, yeah, I think sometimes you think of like 100-foot boats. This is like, it's a big boat, but it's not like a humongous boat.
So scientific here on the What If Podcast.
I mean,
it's big, but not like really big.
I mean, it depends on your definition of what a big boat is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was 9.8 meters.
9.8 meters. So yeah, so a 30-foot boat. Basically, the only thing that seemed out of order was a ripped sail and the fact that there was nobody on board.
So a big wave got him, right?
Well, you would potentially think that.
A rogue wave, if you will.
You would think that a rogue wave.
It's like our lighthouse keeper guys.
Oh, yeah, shit. What episode was that?
I don't know, 30-something maybe?
What was that about? What was the name of the lighthouse? I can't remember now.
It's the Flannan Isles bit.
The Flannan Isles Lighthouse. That's
three
right.
lighthouse keeper guys who disappeared without a trace.
Yes. That's right.
I don't know. I don't remember what episode it was. But
they admittedly, through some of the tracking stuff they figured out, they had potentially sailed near a squall that evening. But
that's a storm?
That's a storm.
Yeah, it's a
That's
sea storm?
Sea storm. Yep.
Okay.
But
it always sounds like an animal to me.
A squall?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
It used to be like a Powerade flavor too.
Squall was a Powerade flavor?
Yeah.
Sounds
Or
kind
like
of,
something squall, like Arctic squall.
that sounds sort of like strange and semi-violent, I guess.
Green squall. Yeah, bro. Green squall Powerade.
Green squall.
Yeah.
Boy, that sounds like that'll give you a disease.
It probably did.
It probably did.
You can buy it still at Kmart.
Green squall?
Nope. That's a webpage from 2010. Sorry, carry on. I really got nothing to offer here.
Sweet Jesus.
Just kind of saying stuff.
You would think that that would be a logical response, right? Like a big wave would have got him. But from the timing of what they have from final records, which includes some video that they took on board, which they recovered, as
what?
They took video.
The three guys had taken video
of themselves on board.
Okay. And this was on one of their computers or something, or on a camera that was left behind?
A phone or camera. They don't say specifically, but when they searched the boat, they turned up video. They found that based on when the squall had occurred, there was video taken after the squall had occurred based on the location of the boat, with what they could see behind what was being filmed, with where the boat would have been at the time.
Okay.
So they're like, all right, so the squall didn't get them. They must have circumvented the squall, because the video footage shows them like fishing, like legitimately, as there's a guy
they were
like
fine
fishing.
after that.
Right. So there
And
was
obviously they were on the boat, which is the main concern.
right. So that's all sort of
Double squall?
They don't. There's no report of another squall.
But isn't the whole point of rogue waves that they kind of come out of nowhere and they're not predictable? Hasn't that been documented?
A straight up rogue wave is different than a squall, but
I know,
yes,
but I'm saying, isn't that a possibility?
that is a possibility.
Be...
But here's the thing: nothing on the ship looked like it got hit by a massive wave. It wasn't tipped over. There was laundry still hanging. There was newspapers like on desks.
What the hell happened to the sails then, or the sail?
They don't know. There's a possibility that, I guess the way that they explained it I looked up a couple articles about this. Depending on like, you can fuck up a sail if it like is not extended properly and spins wrong at the wrong time. Just like I spun my mic into my own
your microphone
face.
Nice work.
So I don't know. I mean, could be a lot of things.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Pirates.
But
Are there pirates over there?
in Australia,
Yeah.
there could be, but they don't say.
Nah, and they left valuables on there. That would make sense.
Right. Tons of valuables, laptops, like literally, like if they got hit by a wave, why would there be a laptop on
I'm
and
assuming
running?
it wasn't sitting out on the deck. It was probably below, right?
No, but if it's a wave that's big enough to crush the boat and knock everyone off of the
You wouldn't
boat,
have to crush the boat to knock them out. If you're standing up on the deck and a big wave comes up.
Sure, but it could have. I mean, I would imagine.
And then if the motor was running, maybe they weren't able to get back to it.
I would think you would see some sort of on-boat damage that would be like, oh, they got hit with water. There's like water damage here. There's flooding
I
of the
see
engine.
water damage on a boat, though. It's designed to be out in the ocean.
But like, you don't think an engine would flood from getting hit by a massive
I would hope
rogue
not.
wave?
It's designed to work out in the ocean.
I mean, I guess
You would think you would
I don't know.
build them to prevent exactly that from
I
happening.
would think there would be some evidence of them getting hit by a wave. And the way that it's explained is that everything basically looked like the only thing that was out of place was that there were no human beings on the ship. Like, you're talking about like silverware on things that hadn't been knocked off, newspapers on tables that had not been knocked off, laptops in place. Like, they didn't get
things at least would have been
upended
shifted
or like
rocked around.
For the most part, everything seemed to be normal, except for the fact that there were not human beings on the ship.
All right, so if it's not that, what's left? It's
Well,
probably not. They probably didn't get jacked because
there were
a bunch of
valuables on
valuables.
board, right? The official explanation is that there was, and actually it's funny that you bring up the Flannan Isles Lighthouse stuff, because the official explanation is not dissimilar than what we kind of landed on for that episode, which was like, the domino effect, right? Like, one person gets in danger, and then another person goes to save the person in danger and gets in danger, and then
actually
a
makes
third
things
person,
worse.
right? And
that's weird though, in that small of a space.
how so?
Well, like, if we're likening it to the Flannan Isles situation, that probably happened in the middle of a storm. And people were running back and forth between two locations that weren't within sight of each other.
Yes.
You're talking about 3 men on a 30-foot boat.
Right.
You wouldn't ever be out of sight of each other.
Yes.
If one person goes over, how would you end up with all 3 overboard and the engine's running?
Right.
It doesn't...
No, completely. I mean, the other...
And how does the first person go over anyway?
Right. Especially when you consider their history. The brothers, the Tunstead brothers, had been sailing since they were 18 years old and worked radio rooms in the Volunteer Sea Rescue Organization in Australia. So not unfamiliar with water and oceans and boat safety and all that stuff.
Some experienced dudes.
Yeah.
Is a planned disappearance possible?
Possible, but no one has any evidence as to how they would have disappeared.
You
Because
just hop on another boat.
Sure, I mean, if another boat had somehow met them, there is.
I mean, you could plan such a thing.
You could definitely plan such a thing.
I don't know what the motivation would be, but
well, agreed. When they were found, actually, the fenders were out on their yacht.
What does that mean?
There's these they're almost like air packed buoys. Have you ever tied up a boat next to another boat before?
Yeah.
You know how you got like the air packed buoys that you throw over the side and they're meant to be cushioned in between the exact edging buffer. So on the side of the yacht, they had put out all of their fenders when the boat was found.
Okay.
And so the niece of Derek Batten said when she was interviewed, there was an investigation that included interviewing like 27 separate people, witnesses, family members, etc., around the disappearance. And this girl named Hope said the fenders were out on their yacht, and the only reason you ever pull out fenders is when another boat comes aside you or if you come to rest against a wharf. So she was essentially making the argument that like if they were sailing through the Great Barrier Reef, they would have no reason to have those on the outside of the boat, especially as being people who were like as nautically oriented as they are. Yeah. But the fact that they were on the outside is potentially some clue as to maybe the fact that there was somehow another boat that pulled up next to it.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't know much backstory on these guys, if there's something that they would have been running from or... Not
really. I mean, the only things that are kind of reported about them is that they were in their like late 50s, early 60s, all retired. They did this semi-frequently. They fished. They were all fishermen. they did this stuff sort of recreationally on the regular basis. One thing that was an interesting element of the explanation was that all reports ruled out foul play or staged disappearances after the 27 interviews occurred with family members and friends and acquaintances and coworkers and all that stuff. Well, one of the weird and interesting things is that one of the three men's fishing lures was found entangled in the ship's portside rudder at the back of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they speculated is that it's possible that someone could have, if they were on a bit of a fishing binge, one of the three men may have tried to loose the fishing lure if it had been stuck in the rudder. And he may have gotten in the water to do that. And if he had gotten in the water to do that without a life jacket on, there's a distinct possibility that depending on how well or poorly it went, he might have,
It doesn't explain the other two guys, though.
Well, but this goes back to the lighthouse theory of the dominoes that
how though you're all going to jump in and then none of you can swim.
So they
and
said
you're going to leave the motor running while you do all this.
I completely agree, but the motor running thing to me actually makes the most sense about them potentially just jumping in, except for the fact that wouldn't you, if you were a serial nautical, boat user, whatever the fucking if you were a boat guy, that if you jump off the boat while the engine is still idling, like you're gonna the boat is slowly gonna move away from you.
Any good yacht man knows that.
And if you're in the middle of the fucking ocean, that's a fucking
that's what I'm
super
saying. It
bad
doesn't
idea.
make any sense.
Like you turn it off for even
especially
if you have momentum, you turn it off.
For all three of them to make that decision, that doesn't make any sense.
One at a time. One falls in, the second one goes to save them. The third one, without turning the idling fucking motor off, dives in after them.
Were there like 47 empty beer cans on the deck when they found them?
So I didn't see anything about alcohol consumption, but I guess I would think fucking when you and I are retired and in our 50s and fucking
we'll probably die on a boat.
Fishing on a boat, we're probably gonna be drunk while we're doing it. I don't know.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either. So there's no reporting of that being the case, but I don't know why they also probably wouldn't be knocking back a couple of...
There was no alcohol found on board the ship, meaning they consumed it all.
Fosters! Australian for beer.
I just don't know why.
I don't know. It seemed like the right thing to do. We're talking about booze. You don't see why they would have gotten it.
No, I meant why you insist on the accents.
I've only got... Look, we're only doing 2 Australian-themed episodes probably ever, so I got to get out all my bad accents I can.
Got to make them as bad as possible.
I don't know, man. The bodies of the men were never found.
I assume Australian waters are just full of sharks, so that makes sense.
Well, the Great Barrier Reef, fuck yeah.
Are there any birds big enough in Australia to pick up adult men?
I don't think that's a thing at all.
Okay. I know Australia's got some weird animals.
Another hypothesis.
Sea snakes?
There's a sandbar near George Point, which is not super far away from where they were. And it's also somewhat near where the boat's last radio message was made. And there's a speculation that potentially the boat got stuck on the sandbar and that they got in to dislodge the boat from the sandbar. But that when they pushed it out of the sandbar, it got sort of carried away from them and couldn't catch it.
How dumb would you have to be to do that, though?
But, think about it. Depending on the wind conditions, maybe the wind picks up and it grabs the boat in a moment where you're
3 of us are driving in your car.
I know.
And you get stuck in the snow. We're all 3 going to get out and just push it down the road?
I get it. I understand your
That's
skepticism.
how dumb that would be.
I know. But maybe you are 3 or 4 beers deep and you're like, oh, we got to push out of the sandbar. And you just fucking do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck the boat.
You ever had 3 beers and gotten out of your car with it in gear and walked away? Okay, maybe that's not a good question.
Ask
to
me
ask
off the air.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't know, man.
You don't do that if you've ever driven a yacht before.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you do. I guess
Also, if you're stuck, you keep the engine running?
I wouldn't think so. I would think your initial reaction would be dead the engine so that like no currents or idling will take you anywhere away from where you are.
Right.
I also wouldn't think that anybody in their 50s and 60s, even if you're going to like go dislodge a fishing lure, wouldn't be throwing a life jacket on in the middle of the fucking ocean. Like I'm not swimming.
That one doesn't make any sense to me because I don't know how you get from that to all three guys being in the water.
Right. One at a time. I don't know, man. It's a weird one. No one was ever found. There was no evidence of foul play. Again, the boat was found in its basically pristine condition outside of the one element of the sail.
So are we also going with abduction on this one?
You want to?
Is that what you're saying?
You want to say they yelled loud enough on the boat deck until they got pulled up?
It seems as likely as any other explanation.
I mean, I can't entirely disagree with you that none of these things seem very.
What about a water spout?
But again, anything that would have disrupted the human beings on the boat would have disrupted the rest of the boat.
Yeah,
you're
probably right.
And that's the weird part about it is
not alien tractor beams.
Right. Yes. That would not have done that.
Yeah.
But what would have disrupted every human on the boat and not touched anything else physically on the boat? I don't know.
The alien laser thing.
Alien tractor beams.
Yeah. It's got to be it.
I guess so.
Ghosts?
Ghosts?
Ghost sharks.
Ghost boats. Ghost sharks. Fuck, that sounds scary as fuck, dude.
They're opening for Robot Grandma this weekend.
Hey! Shop.whatifpodcast.com.
We out of here! Is it that time? Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah, we're getting down there. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday next week.
You can't lie to me.
It's my birthday next week. It's my birthday next week.
Did you want me to do something about that?
No, I was just like thinking out loud about the timing of this episode and when it comes out, and it's gonna be my birthday a week from this episode coming out, and that's tight as fuck.
Cool, man. You made it.
I made it. Player, we made it.
Well,
well,
not yet because it's still 2 weeks from
God
your birthday.
bless and may the devil miss. I don't know. Do we have any announcements? Anything we want to tell anybody?
Nah, I don't think so.
Anything we should keep a lookout for? Any aliens
am I doing anything cool
to avoid or circumvent
around the time that this comes out? This is what, the 20th? Or 21st?
Something like that. No, 19th.
19th is a Monday. That's not when we put out episodes.
20th.
On the 26th, if you live in the Twin Cities, I'm gonna be playing records at Surly on Monday the 26th.
Surly beer, we like it and we drink it.
You gonna be there?
I don't know.
Maybe
we'll see. I'd like to be there.
One or both of us will be there if you want to come talk about aliens and drink the best beer in Minnesota.
I'd like to be there.
Okay.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. Cool. I'm gonna come.
March 26th. We'll play. I'll play some DMX and we can drink good beer and talk about aliens. It'll be fun.
Hey, Opa.
I think that's all I got.
Cool. Thanks to everybody that's joined the Patreon the past couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, Is It Trash coming soon? Or maybe by the time you hear this, depending on how much free time I have in the next week. We'll see.
Spencer's been digesting a lot of media lately. He might have like a backlog of 15 Is It Trash episodes
Paradox
in his brain.
It's going to be first.
You just need a place to vent about it. Are we going to have done the meltdown yet? Or should we tease that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Let's do it, and then I'll put it in there if it's out, because I don't know what Rob's schedule is.
Okay. So we did this fucking episode of this podcast with this guy that we like on the internet a lot.
If you don't know about Our Strange Skies and Rob Christofferson,
you're fucking up.
Yeah, it's a great podcast all about UFOs. It's called Our Strange Skies.
Rob's a cool dude who's called into our show a bunch, and he's active in the What If Podcast Facebook group.
Yeah, you've probably heard him on our show many times. Mostly,
I'm disturbed. I don't know why I decided to do this.
Whenever we play that button, but Rob has a brilliant podcast, and we were fortunate enough to be guests on his podcast.
Yeah,
for a series that he calls The Meltdown,
We melted down, guys.
Where you rant about shit that it's kind of like, is it trash? But with your friends.
That's true.
We talked about Tom DeLonge's appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast and how trash it was.
and we melted into balls of firing fury and flame.
Melted right into balls.
And you guys have to listen to it because I got so mad I vomited. I got so upset I threw up into a microphone.
Gross.
I'm just kidding. I'm just saying that because we haven't actually recorded it yet, so I don't actually know what happened.
Those things probably all happened.
But I'm betting. If I were a betting man, I'm gonna get so pissed off I throw up into a.
Our Strange Skies. Go listen to all his episodes. It's great.
Yeah. All right.
He had actually this week, whatever. Today, I don't know what day it is. This sucks recording.
I don't know where I am.
He did an interview.
I don't know why I decided to do this.
He did an interview with the director of the David Huggins documentary, Love and Saucers.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show a few times.
Yeah, Rob got to interview the director of that brilliant film for an hour or so. It's great.
Pretty dope.
Go listen to Rob's podcast. It rules.
Please do. All right, we love you guys. Hi at whatifpodcast.com if you want to tell us something weird, and we'll tell you something weird back. We love you guys forever. We'll see you soon.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you!
We'll be back next week with another episode of the What If Podcast. Learn more at www.whatifpodcast.com.